Hello my friends, how's everyone doing today? Welcome to my channel. I hope you're having an awesome day. I'm videoing this video on Friday night, so I'm super excited because it's the weekend. And it's Cinco de Mayo, so happy Cinco de Mayo. But I hope, I think you can celebrate that no matter who you are or how you wish to celebrate it. But yes, we had a little celebration at work, and I'll tell you about that. But I wanted to show you. I just was kind of like, I should be doing my video for tomorrow right now, but this is not going to be for tomorrow. It's going to be for another day because I couldn't wait to work on this little journal some more. So I showed you where we worked on this book, and it's a little old, little old book. And actually, I didn't tell you the title of it on my last video, the first video where I started working on it. The actual name of this journal or this book was Love Songs for Childhood or of Childhood. Love Songs of Childhood, I think it was. And there was a little marker, like a marker mark right there. I didn't do it. It was that way when I got it. And it's a little old grungy book. I don't know if I told you the measurements in the first video, but it is 4 1/4 inches wide by 6.5 inches long. So not very big, right? And I'm using the original spine. And in the first video where I started working on this, I said I wanted to cover up that little mark. And first I was looking through for something small. And this would have looked cute, but I got this little tatted doily out to try that. And then I looked and I saw this beautiful blue embroidery in the same drawer. And I thought, oh, I haven't really used my embroidery very much. I have quite a few, really pretty like this embroidery pieces, and I just haven't used them. I thought that would look really beautiful when I saw this blue on this book. I was a little afraid to do it because I didn't know about how it would wrap. It was a good sized piece. I fussy cut it out of a dress or scarf. There's another one of these same things, on either end, that type of linen. And so I was a little bit afraid of I don't want to ruin this cover because I really like it. I really want to make it into a journal. So if I ruin it, it's not going to be good. So I was determined to use it though. So I fussy cut it out, which took a little while. If you can imagine, I was really careful, and I didn't want to cut any of the embroidery. So I kind of, how I usually call it loose fussy cutting. So as close as I could without cutting into the embroidery, of course. And so then I put it on here so that it would cover up that marker and be just a pretty cascade of embroidered flowers here. And it does wrap around the spine and go onto the back. And it's like a little bouquet of flowers. And here's the ribbon right here that's tying up the bouquet. So didn't that turn out nice? So what I did was I glued it down with some Fabri-Tac, and then I sewed with my sewing machine in the grooves right here. So you can kind of see it, but I think it really, it would have stayed put with just the glue, but I wanted to give it some definition around the spine. So I just sewed from here to here and here to here, and you probably can't even see it. I used white thread so it would blend in, but look how nice that is now. I just can't even believe how good it looks myself, because I have never done that before. So I was really kind of, I wasn't like petrified or anything, but I was a little scared. So that's where we're at. And I wanted to today work on some pages. So I have been, the last couple of days, I've been coming in here in the morning before work and pulling out some papers. I just pulled these two out just now. This one has pretty, look how, this is one of the, let's see, this was avocado dyed, and this was coffee dyed. So this is just a pretty kind of, kind of grungy, vintage looking piece of scrapbook paper, the coffee dyed one, and the avocado dyed one has these pretty, it almost looks like kind of old wallpaper, and it has little blue birds on it, and in the background, this creamy kind of background has some tannish type little tiny polka dots. And I don't know if it'll show up on the video, but that's what that is. So I said I was going to get 3 signatures in here, and I am. I am going to. You're probably like, if you've never seen me get 3 signatures into a small journal like that before, you'll probably be going to be like, I don't know how you're going to do that, but okay, Sheree. But I have made little journals like this out of with an inch or less spine. I think it was the Halloween journals that I made out of some little books that I had found last year, and I used the, was it those? Or I just made a little spine on those, I think it was. I made a little tiny spine because I just wanted them to be little tiny journals. So that's what I did. I made a little tiny spine on them, and they turned out really cute. And I did get 3 signatures in there, so there is, where there's a will, there's a way most of the time, right? So anyway, Cinco de Mayo, we decided at the beginning of the week, there's right now there's 4 girls in my office. One of them is we have a 5th girl, but she's on maternity leave. She just had a baby last Friday. And so the 4 of us that were there, I work in an attorney's office, right? So the attorneys were going to be out around lunchtime. So we decided to have a Cinco de Mayo, and we got it okayed by the boss, the main attorney, and so he okayed our celebration, and it was just really lunch, but we we went a little over, just talking and having a good meal. So we decided what we were going to make. And we all brought in ingredients and things for the meal and for the lunch. And we had a nice little Cinco de Mayo celebration at lunchtime. We just had some really yummy food and sat. And we talked really, a little bit longer than an hour. Like we usually get an hour lunch break. We just talked a little bit more than an hour, not too much. But it was really nice to, all of us to sit down together and have a nice meal. So what we made was one of the girls brought a crock pot, and we made this Mexican, I'm just going to say call it Mexican. I think it says Mexican in the title, and it's like a crock pot Mexican dish with chicken. So this particular one had chicken. You cook the chicken in there, and then when the chicken's cooked, it's nice and soft, and you can shred the chicken up. So that was that type of thing, and then there was, I think, black beans, corn, and it involved cream cheese and taco seasoning packets, and I'm trying to think if there was something else in there. I don't know, because my job was to bring the 2 packets of. We doubled the recipe for 4 people. We made way too much, but we thought in case one of the attorneys ended up coming back to the office, we wanted to have 1 or 2 of the attorneys. We wanted to make sure we had plenty. So anyway, my job was to bring the taco seasoning. So I had to bring 2 packets of taco seasoning, 2 cream cheese, blocks of cream cheese, and I brought rice. I like the if you've never tried it, and I don't know if you you might not even have it in your area. But at our Walmart here in North Carolina, at least at mine, we have Goya in the Hispanic section in Walmart, where they have all the, that type of food. There is a rice in that section made by Goya, Goya, if you've never seen it. And since I've discovered it, I don't buy any other kind of yellow or Mexican or Spanish rice. Sometimes they have different flavors. Different Walmarts, I've discovered, even around here, have different flavors. Like right now, my local one only has the Mexican rice, but there's another one nearby by my work that has, sometimes they'll have the 3 flavors, Mexicans, called Mexican, Spanish, and I think the other one might be called yellow rice. So anyway, ever since I discovered the Goya brand, I have not bought any other brand because it's the best that I've ever, when I first tasted it, I was like, oh my goodness, that is the best, rice I've ever tasted. So, so that's what we had. I made, and somebody brought in tortillas, small tortillas. So we tried it. I think everybody tried it a little bit over the rice, and then we tried it in a tortilla. It was really good both ways. And we had, one of the girls made fresh guacamole and, let's see, rice, guacamole, and we had some chips, you know, and one of the girls also brought in some homemade salsa. So did we eat good or what? We had a great lunch, and we have leftovers for next week. We're like, oh, we're all looking forward to Monday's lunch now. And then one of the girls brought in, we brought in a lot for 4 girls, right? One of the girls brought in a key lime pie. That was our dessert for our Cinco de Mayo. So it was a lot of fun and very yummy meal. I think that was everything we had. So very nice, right? So that was fun. You know, I haven't been at this job a year yet, so you know, it's fun that, you know, we do things like that. And they said they have done it before where they bring people, you know, they all bring in something and they make a nice lunch or have a nice lunch together. But we haven't done it since I've been there, and I've been there since August. So they kind of said we've got out of the routine. So, you know, they were like, we need to start doing this again, and, you know, having lunch. You know, of course it would be nice to do it once a month, but sometimes it's hard to keep up something like that, you know, every month if you get really busy or something. So, you know, we'll play it by ear, but it was really nice. So, and now it's the weekend. I might as well use this as a page too. I like to have different size pages anyway, so we can use this and not waste it. Let's cut off this right here. And what do I do with the other bird part? Let's see. That one came out different. Why did it come out different? I guess oh no, it didn't. Here it is. I can use that too. Okay, so let's cut that. So let me stop talking so much and concentrate on what I'm doing here so we can get some more pages cut. Let's see. I'm trying not to make them too wide. And see what we can get done here. And then I can go from there. And let's see, this has a little bit of a branding strip on it. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off and see what we have left. It's just a tiny one on this paper. This piece right here anyway. These two scrapbook papers that I'm showing you, they're by Hobby Lobby. They're from Paper Studio. And I mentioned it before, but in case you didn't hear it, I had bought 2 of the big, they were on sale about, I'm going to say almost a year ago now. Probably not quite a year, maybe 9 months ago. But I bought 2 big, you know, they have the big packs, and they were on sale, and I bought 2 of them that I thought looked really something that I would really like to use. And so let's see if that's good. So then I coffee dyed and every single piece and there's a lot. There's like, I don't know, 100, I think there's over 100 pages, like 108 pages in each one. So that took a while, but I just kept on going until I was done. And so, let's see, this is a piece of paper I pulled out it's not copy paper, I don't think. It's some other kind of like typing paper or something, and I just like the color of it. It's just a random piece of paper that I had in my closet there. So let's cut this down. And yeah, I've been thinking about my next journal already. And I don't know what it's going to be. I'm going to look through my book covers again. And I don't know if it's going to be, I saw something today that looked really cool, and you know, I might just try and see how everyone likes it, you know, like, and if it goes like, you know, it's like I decide kind of what to do when, you know, I make a journal and it sells like really quick. That means everybody, you know, liked it, right? And then, so if it doesn't sell, I'm like, okay, you know, I know it'll sell sooner or later if it doesn't sell like immediately. You know, all my journals do sell sooner or later, but sooner than later is always better. So I know if it sells, like, sometimes it sells before I even finish it. You know, somebody says, I want that journal. So I know, you know, okay, this is really, people really like this. But of course, I don't want to make the same journal all the time. So anyway, I kind of had an idea today, and I think I might try it and just see, you know, how it goes. And then if it goes well, I could make more than one out of my book covers, because I would like to, you know, if the journal sells, I would like to make more than one, so that, you know, more than one person could get one and things like that. So, oh, this is like the perfect, pretty much the perfect width. I just saw some vintage book pages. I'm going to divide these up, but for the moment I'm just cutting them and putting them all together right here. I'm kind of letting that, like I just did that embroidery on there, put it on the book cover just before the video. So I'm kind of letting that, you know, even though it's on there, kind of letting it dry. Let's see how this does. This is a very, some of these book pages I pulled out are very old, so I wasn't sure if I could even use them. This is staying together, but I think it's cracking a little bit, so I'm not going to use that one. This one's very, very old too. Like, I had some books that I took apart, like even this little one here, that might have been like 18 something, the one I'm using right now to make this journal. I don't remember, but it probably is over 100 years old. So some of the book pages that I have pulled out are, you know, I just put it in this little spot where I have some book pages that I'm using for my journals, and so some of them I know are really old. So I might include these ones that I'm folding that I'm not using for the journal. I'll include them for someone to use so you can make ephemera with them. Some very old book pages. And this is a little, this was a little, I believe, a little vintage notebook that I had found. It just was a little notebook like this with these lined pages, like a small composition book, but it wasn't, I believe if I remember the one that this came from, it was like not card stock, or not, you know how a composition book is made out of like cardboard. It wasn't a cardboard cover. I think this one came out of one with like a faux leather cover. So a really nice little notebook, but it was at the thrift store. No one wanted it. So I took it and took it apart. And these are avocado dyed. You can tell by that if it has a little bit of a pinkish color. Here's a really dark one. See that? I got a lot on there. And so, yeah, these are all avocado dyed. Let's see how wide they are. Yep, they're good. Okay. Now I have a few music or hymn book pages. And let's see, these I was going to cut and fold also. Let's see how they fold. These are also old, but not 100 years old. These particular hymn book pages I don't think are 100 years old. A lot of times the copyright that you see, I think from what I've seen on, because I have quite a few hymn books, and I think the copyright that you see, like there's one right here, but I think that's for the song and not for the book, because you'll see a different one on each song. So just in case you have a hymn book and you're wondering, maybe you already know that, or maybe I'm not telling you anything new, but anyway, that's what I've kind of figured out with working with hymn books. So I don't know, I'd have to look to see if there's a actual copyright in the front when the hymn books are printed. I haven't really paid attention to that. So that one's a little wide. So we're getting through these. Like, I can't put that many pages in each signature anyway, so I'll have my pages before I know it. So this is a nice strong, these didn't crack or anything, these hymn book pages. These didn't look like, they didn't crack, and they don't even look like they're going to crack. So these are good. And these are naturally aged. See the browning around the edges? I didn't distress these or anything. These are naturally aged, so really kind of cool for an old vintage, and it is a vintage, I mean, maybe even an antique book for the pages of this. I just wanted something that, you know, I thought all of these went along with the book cover really well as far as, you know, going along with the age of that book cover. So let's see, chop a little bit off here. Let me see, I think those look good. And then I'm going to get these in here. So I'll probably divide, if I don't know if I'll have time during this video, but I'll divide up my 3 signatures from these papers that I'm cutting right now. And then I'll sew them in. And I'll see what else I need to do. I don't want to, I kind of said when I started this journal, I kind of feel like it should be, it can be anything. You can put little mementos in here, but it could be anything. It could be, like, I want to leave plenty of writing space and room to, I'm kind of thinking about these right now. These are my grungy coffee dyed papers. Let me grab something because I'm not totally sure. Like I said, because I want to make sure you can write on these, of course, but I want to grab some lighter ones and see if I like those better. Just 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I grabbed these right here. See the difference? They still have a lot of lines and things, but it's lighter. I grabbed these because I'm thinking the book cover is grungy, you know? I'm thinking grungy, but I don't know. I think I want to go with this level of grunge and not the other that I just had out here. So let's see. I wonder if I can fold it this way. It might be the perfect. Now it's still going to be too wide that way, I think. But I think I'm going to go with this and see how we do here. Yeah, I'm still going to have to cut off about 1/4 of an inch. Well, let's do that. Yeah, when I sewed, I was going to mention when I did sew that embroidery on the outside, I was really careful with my sewing machine. And I sewed, I kind of, it was glued on there, and I kind of took my scissors that I have over there and pushed the fabric or embroidery piece down into the grooves, you know, the little grooves you make when you make a new spine and you have those spaces for your spine. So I pushed the embroidery down into those grooves so I could see where to sew, because that's where I wanted to sew, is in those grooves. Because I figured, you know, I wouldn't be able to go through the spine or the book cover, but I thought I could go through the grooves because it's thinner there, right? So sure enough, it worked, but I did have to go really slow and be careful because a couple times it got jammed. It's like, I'm not going through there. So the problem would be I would, even though it's a straight line, it was like I had to kind of make sure and move like just a pin hair, like a hair of a movement to make sure my needle was going into that groove. So yeah, so I had to just go slow and make sure I was in the groove all the way up and move it slightly and make sure my needle was in the groove the whole time, because it did vary a little bit as I was going, you know, up and sewing, trying to sew into the groove. So I hope that makes sense. Just in case you try it, I did want to mention that. I sewed in the groove, and I sewed with the sewing machine part of the way, or most of the way, and then I took it when I was scared that it was going to just break my needle or something. You can turn your wheel instead of using your foot pedal and having it go on its own. I would turn my wheel, and you know, it goes up and down. The needle still sews when you just turn your wheel, but you can be more careful and be like, okay, you know, you're turning it and you're like, okay, it's not going through there. You know, you move it over that hair of a, a slight hair of a movement, and then you keep going. However, with your hand turning the wheel or automatically, because I'd be turning it, and then I'd have my foot on the foot pedal a little bit, and then it would, kind of like almost like when it was free to go, it would almost like start going because I had my foot on the foot pedal. And so, it just, if you try it, you just got to be patient and work through it. So, yeah. And if you don't sew, or you don't want to even try something like that, that's why I do it. So you can buy my journals, right? Yes, because I even though it was a little, tedious, or I had to be so careful and everything, I enjoyed it, and I love the results. So yeah, everybody has their things that they like to do and don't like to do. So and that's how it all works out. I know there's things I don't like to do. I'm like, I'd rather just buy that. I don't want to, I don't want to mess with that. So, yeah. That's what makes the world go around, right? So, all right. So we're getting quite a few papers here. I have one more. I think I have enough time to cut this one. See, I tried to have like almost 3 of each paper. I kind of wish that was my goal, to have 3 of each paper. Then I could have 1 of each in each of my 3 signatures. So anyway, I hope you all have a great weekend. Peaceful, whatever, fun, whatever you have planned or don't have planned. It's nice not to have anything planned. I like to have nothing planned if possible. We have our family dinners on Saturday. Oh, I got to give you an update real quick of my decluttering. So I told you last week I was taking my sixth load to Goodwill, which I did. I had stuff in my trunk, and I have a little car, so it's like, relative to my size of my car. I have a tiny car. But still, I had my little trunk full and my back seat full. I don't think I ever brought that much stuff to Goodwill before in my little car. So I was like, kept on handing stuff to the guy, and it's like, a little more, a little more, a little more, a little more. And then that's it, finally, when I got to the end. And then I told you my husband had stuff on the front porch that he was getting rid of. And I was hoping he would go to Goodwill. He was going to Goodwill, whatever, wherever he had to go to get rid of it. And I told you, I thought, okay, he's going to go on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. And that was my prediction. Because he said he would do it last week. But I was like, had my doubts. Because, he kind of moves and does things whenever he feels like it. Not always according to my wishes. So, but he did it. He did it on Wednesday. So it was all gone on Wednesday. So I was very happy. My front porch is not cluttered up anymore and looking like a garbage dump. So, or good, whatever. So, okay, so let's see. We have about a minute or two. So let's see. This is just I guess I just pulled that over there from my scraps. All right, let's move this over real quick. So I've got this 2 or 3 scrapbook papers. I want full-size scrapbook papers on the front of each signature. So I might have to grab one more piece of scrapbook paper. But in the meantime, let's put this bird, well, I don't want 2 pieces of scrapbook paper together. Now this is that random piece of paper, so let's put that there. And then a book page. And then, let's see, is that 2 book pages? Those book pages are thick. Or this one is anyway. Okay, I think there's only one of those though. And then a piece of the note paper. So that's 4 papers in that one so far. And now on this one, let's put coffee dyed paper next, and a book, hymn book page, and then a notebook paper, the old notebook, and that's 4 papers in that one. Okay, and this is, okay, so this is going to go in here. So next, coffee dyed paper. This one looks too wide, doesn't it? It is too wide. I'm going to have to trim that one. And then music. Okay, what do we have left here? Oh, I didn't put any note paper in here. Okay, so let's see. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that needs to be trimmed up a little bit probably. And then this one. 1, 2. See, we got coffee. We've already got music in there. I might put another copy in there. Nothing wrong with that. And then this one, I have coffee there. I feel like Okay, I think I'm going to put the music here. And then, okay, so that's where I'm at. I'm going to, that would look pretty together. Bird, that color, and then bird for the signatures. Yeah, I like how it's shaping up. I think I'm going to get one more bigger piece of paper, though, to go on the outside of this one. Maybe I might have to do a little trimming and a little bit of rearranging, but once I get that done, then I can sew them in, and they will look something like this. Something like this, because you can't see this one because it's smaller. Let me push that up. I'm taking too long here, but yeah. And then we'll see about pockets and things like that, ephemera, things like that. But I think that's going to be a cute little journal, right? Yeah. I told you I could get 3 signatures in there. So I hope you enjoyed today's. Let me show you the outside one more time. Didn't it turn out nice? All right, guys. I'm really happy with that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Have a great weekend. Or when you see this, it won't be the weekend. I hope you had a great weekend. I'll see you later.